Okay, I gave you all a copy of this month's motor vehicle tax that we've received. And I did a comparison from the start of July of last year until April of this year. And it looks like we're really, doing good on collecting money. To date, from July of last year to April of this year, we're at about $240,000. So.
Good, very good.
No, I called, they're working on it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, maybe we could come back to you after the meeting?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a tough go right now, but
Okay.
we're working on it.
All righty. The approval of the minutes, could I have a sponsor in a second?
I'll second.
Martin, Tom. Any discussion? Everybody in favor? Say aye. Against? Abstain. The acceptance of budgetary transfers, could I have a motion in a second?
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
Martin, Tom. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstain. The acceptance of the procurement record. Can I have a motion and a second?
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
Martin, Tom. Call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstain. Old business, we have none. On to new business, which will be resolutions. Okay, Resolution 93. Resolution amending the 2016 operating budget, 2015-16 Childhood Lead Poisoning and Prevention Grant funding increase. Sponsors were Diamond and Kelly. I'd like to move it to the floor for discussion. Hearing none, I'll take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstain.
Yes.
Resolution 94. Resolution accepting the grant application for Montgomery County Bike Trail Restoration, Project Canal Corporation. Sponsors were Diamond and Kelly. Presented to the floor for discussion. Hearing none, I'll take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstain.
Pass.
Resolution 95. Resolution amending the 2016 operating budget, New York State DOT, STOA, 2015 through 16 cleanup. Sponsors were Diamond and Duchessis. I'll move it to the floor for discussion. Hearing none, I'll take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstain.
Pass.
Resolution 96. Resolution authorizing the county executive to sign a agreement with AECOM USA Engineering Services 2016 Bridge Program. Sponsors were Duchessis and Kelly. I'll present it to the floor for discussion. Hearing none, I'll call a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstain.
Pass.
Resolution 97. Resolution amending the 2016 operating budget, CHIPS funds. Sponsors were Kelly and Diamond. Move it to the floor for discussion. Hearing none, I'll call a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstain.
Pass.
Resolution 98. Resolution establishing 2 seasonal motor equipment operators and amending the 2016 operating budget. Sponsors were Diamond and Beignac. I move it to the floor for discussion. Yes, Bob.
My question is, we have 2 resolutions for one is for seasonal and the other is temporary. Can we have an explanation of the difference between the two?
I'll have to refer to either Matt or Paul.
Yeah, it really had more to do with what the existing titles were for temporary help, and we're in the two separate budgets.
But are they reoccurring automatically?
Not in the budget for next year, no.
Thank you.
And this would be paid by CHIPS, correct? Funding?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anything more, questions? I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Against?
Nay.
Abstain?
All convinced.
Pass.
Okay, Resolution 99, resolution establishing a temporary structural maintenance helper position and amending the 2016 operating budget. Diamond and Bingham. I'd like to move it to the floor for discussion, and in saying that, I do believe this is for strictly the bike path. Paul?
That's the intent, to
Yeah.
utilize this simply one, but
Okay. And because we're doing quite a bit of work down there, we're gonna have somebody there dedicated to keep it up.
we did a large amount of brush clearing this past winter in the spring.
Mhm.
To open it back up, it was getting grown in. And now that it's opened back up, we've got more growth and needs more care.
Okay.
Also, it's my understanding that this is going to free up people that are structural mechanics and things like that from doing manual labor.
Right.
Any more questions? I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Against?
Nay.
Abstain?
I'm against also.
Okay.
John?
Abstain? Okay. Resolution 100, resolution approving the retirement days credited monthly for elected and appointed part-time officials. Sponsors were Wheeler and Quackenbush. I'll move it to the floor for discussion. Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstain?
Pass.
Resolution 101, resolution amending the 2016 operating budget, Council 82, corrections supervisors' salaries. Sponsors were Isabel and Quackenbush. Move it to the floor for discussion. Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstain?
Pass.
Resolution 102, resolution authorizing county treasurer to disperse mortgage tax money. Sponsors were Patel and Isabel. Move it to the floor for discussion. Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor? Against? Abstain? Resolution 103.
Let me say pass.
Okay. Well, I'm on a roll, so. Resolution authorizing the county executive to sign a renewal agreement, transportation of Fulton County veterans, youth, ATI, and veterans services. Sponsors were Isabel and Pertel. Move it.
No.
Duchessis and Wheeler.
Pardon me?
It's, you gotta go to the second page here, sorry, on your agenda.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's goofy here.
sorry, it ran.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. All right. Sponsors were Duchessis and Wheeler. Move it to the floor for discussion. Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstain?
Pass.
Okay, resolution 104, resolution authorizing the county executive to sign a service agreement with Frontier Communications Public Safety Building. And this is sponsored by Isabel and Pertel. I'll move it to the floor for discussion. Hearing, oh, sorry, Martin?
Does this change agreements that we already have in place? I understand this is for the new public safety building. Does this change any of the previous contracts that we've had?
No. No, this is a new fiber line that has to be run. It was an old, we had an old line that went dark, we couldn't light it back up. Big to do. Now we've established this new line. It has no impact on anything else that's going on up there. The share system is all on water cable, which is different. And this will light up the public safety. So the short answer is no.
Any more questions? I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstain?
Pass.
Resolution 105, resolution establishing the intern positions and amending the 2016 operating budget. Sponsors were Isabel and Quackenbush. I'll move it to the floor for discussion.
Chair,
Tom?
I'd like to insert the amendment that we have placed on our desk.
Okay.
I'd offer that up as a...
Second.
Second, so Tom sponsoring it, Ryan seconding it. So I'll move that to the floor for discussion.
Chair.
Could I have a copy of that? I don't have one.
During our committee meeting, this was, I thought that, remember when I brought it up and thought maybe there were two positions.
Okay.
I had a kind of conversation, that's why it's coming to us tonight, but it was really, it was meant to be for the committee meeting. But as I said at the committee meeting, I support not only this amendment, but the resolution itself. Whenever we can take our youth, keep them in the county, give them a chance to intern, see what it's like, see what we do, I think they can only grow from it. It'll be a good experience. So I'm going to support the amendment along with the...
The resolution.
I'm in support of this, but I think we should have the amendment read rather than just inserting the amendment that was left on our desk. So we know what it is. Everyone knows what it is. The amounts.
Okay.
You have it, Terry?
Yeah.
You have to multiply it by 2.
Pardon me?
You have to multiply it by 2.
Yeah, right. Yes, for the other compensation, it'll be $2,442.49. The intern is $2,000. The FICA and Medicare is $153. The retirement is $212, and the workman's comp is $77.49.
Thank you.
Right.
Chair, for...
Oh, I'm sorry, Barbara. Okay.
Thank you.
I thought you took a pass, but okay.
Yeah. I had some questions that I wanted to ask, and I think when Duke said that he wanted it read, there was a position, the director of community services will be unpaid, but before the meeting started, being threatened by another legislator really shook me. And I was not going to be supporting this. And the reason why, being threatened by a...
Point of order.
Can you clarify?
Well, we're not here to talk against other legislators.
I'll clarify. So the point of order is to clarify being threatened by a fellow legislator is why I cannot support this.
Okay, point made, thank you. Roy?
Chair, for transparency purposes, I would like to point out that my daughter is going to be interning for the Director of mental health, it's going to be an unpaid position. And I didn't mention it earlier, this just found out yesterday. So
Okay,
I'll abstain from the vote.
okay. Anyone else, Martin?
I heard different things. This is unpaid or is it paid through a grant?
No, there's,
The one
in
in
the past, there's 3. I've been approached this year, which more so than other years, with some young people that were looking to do internships. We were looking to do 2 paid internships in the executive office. It's a very minimal amount of money. And the other internship is a non-paid internship through as a requirement in an academic program to get some experience, so that's not paid, and that would be in mental health.
If I may,
Yes.
I'd like to split the resolution.
Okay.
Hold
Well,
on, we have a
we
pending
have an
motion to
amendment,
amend
yeah.
first, so.
Okay, Ryan, then Barbara?
Just a question on the amendment. Therefore, do we need to amend the actual text in addition to adding those line items to reflect in the text that there's going to be 2 positions and
Yes.
2 paid positions, interns to the county executive, and then 1 unpaid, theoretically split off, but just wanted to make sure that the language reflects those 2 positions.
So, actually,
That's my amendment language.
okay, right, okay, gotcha. Okay, you're okay?
So,
If I may.
is 2 positions in the county executive. In the first, be it, no, the first, be it further resolved.
Change it from 1 to 2.
Yeah, 2. Of 2 interns.
Okay, if everybody's okay with that, I'll call the vote
On the amendment.
on the amendment. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstain? Okay. Okay.
I'm against.
Martin?
Like to split,
Okay.
split out the unpaid from the
Resolution?
resolution.
Okay, so you're sponsoring it,
Yeah.
right? Do we need a sponsor?
Motion to divide the
Motion to divide the question, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the amendment, the vote is to divide the question, Megan?
Yeah, motion to divide the question, to split out the unpaid from the 2 paid internships.
I'll second the motion to divide the question.
Any okay, just vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstain?
Wait a minute, hold on. Who was against? Barbara?
Barbara?
Okay, that motion passed.
Okay. So now, if you would help me, what's the original resolution?
I don't.
Yeah.
Let's just start with unpaid.
The
Okay.
original would be the one
Let's start with the unpaid.
intern and the unpaid.
Start with the unpaid.
Okay. So I need a sponsor and a second for the unpaid.
Sponsor?
Second.
Martin. Tom and Martin.
Okay, can I just ask you a question? So you're dividing it to be the unpaid is 1 and the 2 in the executive is the other,
Yep.
correct?
Okay. So is that clear to everybody? Okay, I'll call the vote.
On which resolution?
On the unpaid.
On the unpaid.
Yeah, on the unpaid. So I'll call the vote. Pardon me?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
The unpaid is the intern for the Director of Community Service.
Yes.
Mental health, yeah. Ryan?
Mr. Chairman, thank you. I'm going to make a comment on this, but it applies to all of the positions. I think this is a phenomenal idea to have interns at the county. One, to provide that opportunity to theoretically young adults coming in to learn about government and what, in this case, mental health, learn about that field, and also about, more of the political science, governmental administration side of it in the executive's office, but also to help out our county workers for a relatively low cost and low financial impact to the county. My question is has this been looked at in other departments? Will it be looked at in other departments for next year's budget? I think this is something that almost all of our departments could benefit from, whether it be paid or unpaid.
Yeah, it actually, it wasn't something I was actually looking for. I was approached by one student who is a business major and one student with a business management major and one with a finance background, and then another that was, looking into mental health. But and it was something I always did when I was in the senator or the assemblyman's office. So I was planning on the next department head to bring it up and to see if there was interest in other departments, but it was, again, it wasn't something I was looking to do because we have a lot going on as it is, but it's actually something that came to me. And we'll see how it goes this year if it's successful. As Dave and I were just talking here, historically there's been a number of interns at DPW data over the years. So maybe we could formalize the process a little bit more next year, but yeah, I'm certainly open to that.
Okay. If there's not anything else, I'll call the vote on the unpaid intern. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Parker's against. Abstain?
Abstain.
Right. Okay,
Yes.
very good. Now I'll call the vote on the 2 interns that are paid in the executive's office.
I'll second.
Sponsor and second,
Tom and Martin.
Tom and Martin. Sorry, I thought we already had sponsor. Okay, if there's not any questions, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstain?
Yes.
All right. Resolution 106, moving on. Resolution 106, resolution adopting the introductory local law G, local law 3 of 2016, a local law establishing a payment in lieu of taxes pilot schedule for the taxation of solar energy facilities. Sponsors were Beignac and Quackenbush, or no? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Beignac and Quackenbush. I'll move it to the floor for discussion. Martin, then Tom.
Make a motion to table.
Okay.
I'm going to talk out of turn and say that we should at least discuss this, I think, this evening instead of just pushing it out till next month, but there is no discussion period, so.
Hold on for a minute.
So he took his tables.
Okay.
I was going to do the same thing, but I actually agree with Ryan. I wanted to just talk a
Okay.
little bit. One of the questions I asked earlier was, is there a time frame on this? And I asked the folks that, and now I'd like to ask Matt if he thinks that, if you don't mind, Sheriff.
No, I
I'm
don't.
going to ask the question if he thinks that there's a time urgency, and if, I don't want to have Mark and I or whoever table or pull it. I'll pull my sponsorship if I need to. But could you?
Yeah, no, I certainly don't, and we talked, a number of us before the meeting, and I think we all knew this was heading toward being tabled tonight. But I do want to emphasize that this is something we really have to work on over the next couple weeks a great deal, because there's a lot of questions out there. Aside from some of the discussions that we already talked about tonight in relation to sales tax and what the, where's the benefit to the county here, but also the threshold. There's been some suggestions on what the threshold should be to grandfather projects in, and what are the consequences going to be of those thresholds. If we do go to something that is earlier in the process than some of the other things that have been discussed, how does that set up for other projects in the county that we're not talking about right now? And also, when you look to what the state threshold is, in talking with the county attorney today, it is, I believe, and Megan, correct me if I'm wrong, under construction, which then is defined as a contract with a utility, such as a national grid. So if that were the threshold, which is applied by the state of New York, that would not grandfather in any of these projects. Then what happens if we potentially get sued because we are not following the same state threshold? So this is not going to be an easy issue to tackle, but at the same time, after talking to our county treasurer and our economic development office, there is some passion and there is a strong sense that we need to get this in place because there's going to be consistently ongoing projects going on, and at some point we're going to have to make a decision to try to implement this. I think there's a sense here that we do want to take this middle of the road ground of not exempting completely or exempting none at all. But if we are going to do this road, it's going to require a tough decision. And I would suggest that maybe the legislature look to, maybe the chairman or a couple other point people, and we start getting together, as early as this week or next week to try to figure out what exactly that threshold is going to be. So, I appreciate everyone listening and talking and putting their info into this discussion. But this is, it's not going to be an easy one to tackle.
Thanks.
Thanks, Tom.
Bob?
I'm in support of tabling this for the following reasons. I don't think this is an easy decision to make, and I don't want to just rush into it. I think the downside risk is what I'm concerned about in identifying what that is, if it is any. Appears to me that you might get upfront the sales tax and then lose on the assessed value over a period of 20 years. The downside risk that, on the other hand, is if you don't have anything on that land, then your assessment is not increased anyways. But I want to make sure that we do this right, and I don't think that waiting another 30 days and going through committee again, or however we get it done, I think it's important we continue the discussion.
Ryan?
Thank you, Chair. I'm not going to comment on the exemption itself, but as far as the threshold that we're talking about, that's currently written as having a site plan approval or building permit, I think in my point of view that needs to have a little revision. My feeling was when this first went through committee, I believe, that while there's nothing compelling us necessarily to make that provision for projects that are already in the works, I think it's frankly, I think it's a fairness idea that these PPAs and these projects were discussed, calculated, and negotiated based upon a tax exemption. And I do think that it is reasonable to make provisions so that they would be able to operate under the circumstances that did exist up until that currently exist at this point. And also seeing, this law has been on the books since '91. I think we can wait a little longer. But, I think, in my point of view, that while there's nothing, in my point of view, compelling the legislature to make these provisions, and certainly there's no need for the ultimatum of either do this or we will not build, or do this or you will not get $1 million in sales tax. I don't think that's the right way to approach this topic, but I do think it's a fairness question of, the applicant in these three scenarios did operate under circumstances, and I think we should try and provide for those.
I would just like to comment for the record, when we did meet on this, the two projects that were going to be grandfathered in were going to be the Nadler Farm and the site on 67. I'll be honest with you, I didn't know about the Log City one, but we can certainly talk about that next week. So, Martin.
Did you get an answer?
Okay.
Motion to table, if there's no other.
Second.
If the intent is for this to, sorry, Chairman, if the intent is for this to go back through committee, maybe we should just pull I would recommend pulling sponsorship so it can go back through committee and be discussed. Otherwise, it's hanging out here at full board for
I
a
agree,
month.
I'll pull my sponsorship. Oh, I'll take my table motion off and then I'll pull my sponsorship
Okay.
for my second.
Is there anyone wishing to pick up a sponsorship? Hearing none, the resolution dies. Okay. On to Resolution 107. Resolution approving the abstract for the audited claims. Sponsors were Kelly and Wheeler. Have a motion, or sorry, I'll bring it to the floor for discussion. Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstain.
Pass.
Resolution Resolution 108, appointing a member to the audit committee. I believe legislator Kelly volunteered to the rest of the year. And we're going to have him checked out, though. I don't know if he really wants to, but, and then legislator Pertel will be the alternate. So I'll bring it to the floor for discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstain.
Pass.
Okay. We're done with resolutions. And the other, I'd like to bring up the proclamation. I have a legislator Wheeler would like to, oh, you're going to do it? Oh,
You knew that.
okay. Okay. Legislator Quackenbush is going to present a proclamation.
This proclamation is for Terry Beanie. Oh, I'm sorry. All right.
All right, hold on, because I told Barbara I'm standing on this side. This is my better side.
Why? So, how long?
30 years.
It's not often that we, okay, you get on that side too.
That's okay.
It's not often that we have an employee that hangs in 30 years. It's a long time. These are tough jobs. Cheryl probably is, I've known her all my life, but probably one of the most dedicated employees that we have or could have. And she's always been there for us, and so tonight we're going to be there for her. We're going to recognize her. Montgomery County Proclamation, whereas Cheryl A. Reese has offered 3 decades of successful service to Montgomery County, using her cheerful personality and strong character to produce, I gotta lower that, produce results for the county and its residents, and whereas on May 30th, 2016, Mrs. Reese will have been employed by the county for 30 years, serving in various positions, including her current title of Clerk of the County Legislature. And whereas Mrs. Reese began employment with Montgomery County as a clerk typist in the Veterans Department on May 30th, 1986, before moving to the position of account clerk typist in the Departments of Veterans, Personnel, and Youth Bureau, then serving in the Public Health Department as a principal clerk, and in 2006 taking a position working for the county's Board of Supervisors before being named Clerk of the Legislature on January 1st, 2014. And whereas over the course of the past 2.5 years, Mrs. Reese has significantly assisted with the county's transition to a 2-branch form of government, helping to oversee all the duties and responsibilities in the charter have properly defined, and also serving as the county's Medicaid compliance officer. And whereas Mrs. Reese has raised the bar in her service to the county's first legislative body, and in July of this year she will complete the Cornell Municipal Clerks Institute, earning the designation of Certified Municipal Clerk, using the knowledge and skills gained to further enhance the administration of the legislative office and contribute to the professionalism of our county government. And whereas Mrs. Reese has served on the Executive Committee of the New York State Association of Clerks of the County Legislative Boards and is a member of the International Institute of Municipal Clerks. And whereas Mrs. Reese has also served residents of Montgomery County by serving as assessor in the town of Minden and currently serving as a town supervisor in Minden. And now therefore it be resolved, County Executive Matthew L. Ossenfort and the Montgomery County Legislature hereby proclaim Tuesday, May 24th, 2016 as an official date in Montgomery County to pay honor Sincerely appreciate and wholeheartedly thank Cheryl on behalf of the people of the county for 30 years of exceptional service.
You started before some of us.
Well, I was actually just going to ask all 9 of you, who was born in 1986? I know 2 of you.
86?
So, yeah.
91, so.
I just want to say thank you. It has been my honor and privilege to work for Montgomery County for 30 years. It has especially been my honor to be a part of this transition and be appointed as the first clerk of the legislature. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for that. And I do have just 2 quick stories I want to tell. I won't tell.
Is it about me?
No, about me. Actually, one of them. So in 1986, when I first started, I was working in the Veterans Office and in the Annex Building, and I walked out in the hallway and there was some gentlemen standing there and I didn't know who they were. So I walked over and I introduced myself, and one of them was Tony Barone. So I said to him, how do I work upstairs in that big office where Matt is now? And he said, honey, you gotta earn your keep. So 20 years later, I made it to the big office. The second story I wanted to tell was in 2006, when I got to that big office, 2 weeks after I started working there on June 28th, 2006, I think you all remember what happened that day.
Yeah, I was there.
I called the chairman of the board at 5:30 in the morning, and I said to him, Tom, it's raining really hard. I think we're gonna have a problem today. He told me to go to work. We all know what happened. So anyway, thank you to each and every one.
I think that was the other flood in 2013.
No, it was 2006. Thank you. I could tell you a story about Terry, but I won't.
No, let's keep that private. Okay. Anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, Martin second. All in favor? Aye. All right. Thank you very much, everybody.